Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. We have gone from, holy crap, Rocksteady's back and they're making a Suicide Squad game to, Rocksteady, why are you making this Suicide Squad game? There's been plenty of backlash surrounding the most recent gameplay showcase of Suicide Squad that has garnered a likes to dislikes ratio that looks something like this. And I've already said time and again before why this has happened. The looter shooter elements that makes it seem like this game's going to be pretty grindy. You're going to be looting, rare guns and armor, and you're going to be focused on gear score and a bunch of numbers to manage, live service elements, microtransactions, battle pass, poorly paced progression, online only, even for single player. A lack of hero individuality was a big sticking point where all the player characters here are just shooting guns and their special abilities are relegated to like special abilities instead of being the main kit with which you play as these characters to really make you feel like them. And then the mission design just looks incredibly bland. Here's a screenshot of what is essentially the whole gameplay presentation, just shooting purple blobs, be it on enemy tanks, on enemies, or on giant structures, and that seems to be the whole point of the set pieces, which just seems like it'll get old, and it's just nowhere near as cinematic as what Rocksteady's produced in the past with the Arkham series of Batman games. And what's crazy to think about is that this game was supposed to come out in about a month as of the publishing of this video, had it not been delayed. And this is not the first time the game's been delayed. Originally, it was supposed to come out in 2022 before it slipped into 2023. That release date was eventually locked to May 26, 2023. But Jason Schreier here reported that based on information he received from a source with direct knowledge of the matter, Warner Brothers has again delayed the video game based on the Suicide Squad comic book franchise. This particular report came shortly after the release of this controversial gameplay footage that garnered all this negative reception. Now, at the time, this was a rumor, a reliable one at that, given Jason Schreier's track record, and not to mention that a number of other outlets and sources were corroborating this. Jez from Windows Central, for example, tweeted, "Hearing Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is grabbing a delay from May to Q4-ish 2023. While there was no official confirmation, it seemed pretty likely that we would eventually hear from Warner Brothers that the delay will happen. The question was, how far would they delay the game? How much longer will we have to wait? And the wait is significantly longer than I anticipated, whereas Jazz had heard that the game would be delayed to Q4 2023-ish, sort of in the October, November, December 2023 timeframe. So that's May, June, July, August, September, October. At least 5 months, at most 8. What ended up happening officially is that the game got delayed by almost an entire year until 2024, and this has been officially confirmed by the official Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League Twitter page. It took them a while to release this official statement. They were cutting it kind of close, with a statement having been published on April 13th, 2023, which is a little over a month out before the original release date of the game of May 2023. And here's the statement that they put out there. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League will now launch on February 2nd, 2024. That's about 10 additional months of development as of the publishing of this video. And the reasoning behind this is we have made the tough but necessary decision to take the time needed to work on getting the game to be the best quality experience for players. Thank you to our amazing community for the continued support, patience, and understanding. There is much more to share in the months ahead, and we look forward to seeing you in Metropolis next year. Now, it's interesting that they don't really specify exactly how they're trying to make the experience better. They don't specifically say we need to polish this game up. They're keeping details pretty vague and nebulous. All they say here is that this was a necessary decision. So, questions are going to be raised about whether they're trying to overhaul certain aspects of the game. I don't think it's likely that this is just suddenly not going to be a live service anymore. Even 10 additional months of development is not enough time to completely rework the foundation of this game. This game from the start, it would seem, was built to be a live service, and it's going to stay that way unless they start development from scratch and take a couple more years, which is definitely not going to happen. But I wonder if they're trying to rework certain aspects of gameplay or significantly enhance the gameplay that we saw that garnered so much negative feedback, or if it's just a matter of taking what we have already seen and just really polishing it up and giving it additional technical shine. For me, the main thing is they need to spruce up the gameplay, because again, the level design that we saw shooting those purple blobs, if that's what the whole game is going to be, then I feel like it's going to enter blandness territory a la Marvel's Avengers. While I do think Kill the Justice League looks better than Marvel's Avengers, it just feels like there's a lot of emphasis on this kind of compromised version of a campaign where, because the game is so primarily focused on multiplayer and live service, they can't make the set pieces that they can make in a single player experience where it's just its own isolated instance. The fact that there are multiple players involved just complicates everything, technically speaking, and so they can't make the set pieces that they can make in single player as they could in the Arkham games. I'm just very curious as to how much more they can really improve upon the poorly received gameplay that we saw back in February. Now, when Jason Schreier first reported on this delay before it was officially announced a few days ago by Warner Brothers, the opinion that Jason Schreier provided is that a delay like this is mainly for polish, not to overhaul the core gameplay that caused the backlash. Suicide Squad started off as a game as a service and will remain one short of a complete reboot, which would require a much longer delay. I think he kind of nailed it on the head there. I do feel like, based on the timing of things, the delay in part wasn't just them suddenly realizing, oh crap, we need to polish the game more. It was definitely like a reaction to the negative feedback, the negative optics, the negative reception, and the backlash surrounding that gameplay footage. I feel like this 10-month-long delay was very much largely influenced by the way that footage was received. And also, it does put them out of the release window of major blockbuster video game releases like Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. The new trailer for that, by the way, looks incredible. And around that time, Diablo 4 and Final Fantasy 16 are coming out. In part, this delay does take Suicide Squad out of that crowded release window where Suicide Squad is less likely to succeed. These are games that have been receiving a lot of excitement, a lot of hype. Media outlets have been reporting positive impressions. People have been reacting to marketing footage for all of these games really positively. The gameplay that we've seen for these have all looked really good, which couldn't be said for Suicide Squad. So Suicide Squad was definitely going to be the game that was going to be trampled by these releases. And so part of it was definitely that business move of, oh, we have gotten such negative reception that it is not a good idea right now to launch this game during a time when we've got these major IPs whose new entries are being so much more positively received. And now the question is, will Suicide Squad kill the Justice League? Will Rocksteady take full advantage of those 10 months to ensure that next time we see gameplay, things will just look significantly more refined, set pieces will look more compelling, level design, mission design, activity design, all these things. If they'll rework, at the very least, the characters in a way that they have more individuality, so that the heroes don't just feel like vanilla third-person shooter characters, and instead, their main kid, instead of shooting the guns that you're supposed to loot in this game, is the stuff that makes those characters unique. Like Captain Boomerang, for example, he shouldn't be shooting most of the time. He should be using his boomerang most of the time. That should be his primary form of offense. Deadshot being more of a third-person shooter kind of character makes sense, but it just right now feels like all the characters are basically Deadshot with some unique abilities here and there. I'm not going to hold my breath for that one, though, because this game is meant to be a live service looter shooter where you're supposed to grind for high rarity guns and armor. They want to place the focus on that. If they take the guns away from the player characters, then players will have nothing to grind for, which I think would be a good thing, but then that would mean having to rework the way the game's progression system works, and I don't think 10 months is long enough to go that deep into overhauling the game. So I largely think the game is going to stay the same, but who knows? Who knows what they can accomplish in 10 months if they can just spruce things up a bit so that it doesn't just feel like every other live service looter shooter, but with a Suicide Squad skin and coat of paint layered on top. Then that would maybe shift some sentiments, but as of right now, I just still got a really bad feeling about this game. A 10 months long delay for what we assume to be polish, that isn't enough to get my hopes up that Suicide Squad will be the Suicide Squad game that I would have wanted out of a company like Rocksteady. But hey, I hope I'm wrong, and only time will tell how all this pans out. In the meantime, though, let me know in the comments below what your thoughts and opinions are about this 10 months longish delay for Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. Do you foresee that being enough time to spruce up the game enough to a point where people can get excited about this game again? Or do you think that even 10 months from now, this game will just end up underwhelming because of the format and genre that it went for, this looter shooter live service, instead of just a campaign-driven, story-driven experience like the Arkham games that Rocksteady is so well known for? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and to be further updated on all things gaming news, reviews, and discussions, stay tuned right here on Young Yeah. I'll see you guys next time. Young out.